It's time for some of that bleach. Alright, so this chapter was definitely a bit different from what we've been getting the past couple weeks. This really didn't have any fighting in it. It was more so finally a solution to powering down the Quincy and definitely weakening them on a more level that's like, even to the captains. I was curious though as to, because last week's chapter we found out that pretty much the Reiatsu for 2 captains disappeared, and it was Hitsugaya and Soifong, so I was immediately thinking, alright, so that means they have to be dead. But then in this chapter we see that Hitsugaya is still alive, but I guess maybe he's just like on the brink of death, and that's what they couldn't probably sense his Reiatsu, because otherwise then why the hell would they say that they completely disappeared? It must be that they couldn't sense it because he's so damn weak at this point. Now this guy Kong Du pretty much seems as though maybe he's bitter about something in life, and it's possible that all the Stern Ritters are bitter about one thing or another in their life, because Kong Du's like, anybody that lives together should die together, that's my style. So it might mean that maybe he's bitter, maybe something in his past happened, and that's why he's like that with pretty much anything that he approaches. He's like, yo, I want you to suffer in the same way I suffered. And maybe the Stern Ritters are all like that as well. Maybe that one Stern Ritter, Bombietta, is like that, killing people because maybe her boyfriend cheated on her. Maybe there's a reason behind each and every Stern Ritter and why they act the way they do. I'm not gonna lie, I got a little chuckle out of Mayuri getting trolled by Urahara with the freaking little earpiece or whatnot, and then him showing up immediately afterward. That was a kind of funny stuff in this chapter. It definitely gave me a little bit of a laugh. Now the Shineyaku, which pretty much at first I thought, hey, are these some magical beans like Jack and the Beanstalk? Turn out to be some black pills that'll pretty much, I guess, put like hollow powers and hollowify the Bankai even for a split second, so that way it'll poison the Quincy, because upon Urahara's experiments he found out that the reason why they never try to steal any of the Arrancar's powers is because it's pretty much poison to them. And it makes sense why the Quincy all along have been hating hollows and why they never try to do anything like Soul Society. With Soul Society, they always said, alright, we'll purify them. And with the Quincy, it's like, nah, they gotta die immediately. Because to the Quincy, it's much more of a danger, these people being around the hollows, than it is to the Soul Society and, the Shinigami. So it kind of makes more sense in adding to the whole thing of the split in the beginning of them saying, well, no, we want to destroy them and we want to purify them and send them away. So it definitely adds to that history as well. Now I'm hoping this poisoning of the Quincy by using it to, poison the Bankai and whatnot doesn't depower them that much, because I still want a decent fight whether Hitsugaya gets his Bankai back or not. Same thing with the rest of the other captains, because I don't want it to be, okay, now that you don't have our Bankais anymore, we can use it, you can't steal it from us anymore because you're going to get poisoned. I don't want it to just be, okay, they're going to immediately wipe them out. I still want a decent fight. That was one of my biggest worries after reading this chapter, is that, okay, now that they got the Bankais back, well, they're going to get the Bankais back, and they're poisoning them so they can't steal it anymore. They're going to, just immediately overpower and dominate them, and that's something I definitely don't want, because, don't get me wrong, I don't want to see them whipped down to the floor either, but at the same time, it's like, I want to still see some good fights, especially some of the other fights that we haven't seen yet. And while it all makes sense of Urahara coming up with that thing, it definitely feels a little bit weird, because it's like, I kind of wanted to see Hitsugaya and Soifong do it on their own, not actually, have any outside assistance, especially from that. Like, maybe if another captain would have come and helped them out and they would have tag team or something, that's different, but it kind of just feels like somewhat of a plot device, having this magical pill, this black pill, that is going to weaken them down. I mean, it's still nonetheless giving them back to their normal power, and this is pretty much going to be like back when they were originally fighting them before they got their Bankai stolen, so I guess it's going to be even at that point. But I was really liking, like, yo, the Quincy's unstoppable, maybe they're going to have to combine techniques and try to take them out, and with this is like, yes, this is the solution that we needed, because it was obvious that the Quincy's were just out of reach with their powers. But now it's almost as if okay, now they've been kind of depowered. They took away one of their biggest advantages, which was not having the captains use Bankai and taking their Bankais away and using it themselves. So it's kind of like, I'm 50-50 with it as far as that, because it's like, on one hand, I wanted to see them outdo it by themselves, but at the same time, it makes perfect sense, and it also is like, okay, they're still going to be having a fight as if they were at normal power, like before they got their Bankai stolen. So it's like, Urahara manages to do it again. I'm telling you, mind over matter. But definitely a good chapter overall this week. We finally found some solution to taking these freaking nut jobs down. And hopefully in the next chapter or two, we definitely get some epic battles. And and see, you know, these captains, now that they trained up, I'd imagine using their Bankai, they're going to be even more stronger. But people like Hitsugaya and Soifong, if they're that defeated and beaten up, then how much of a fight are they going to put up, even if they get the Bankai back and have the Bankai removed from the Quincy? And definitely, I'm looking forward to seeing some more epic fights with some of the other captains and some of the other Stern Ritters, because right now I feel like we're just scratching the surface right now with some of these battles. And also, where the hell is Soifong? Because, like, we barely getting any Soifong. We're seeing Hitsugaya getting demolished and Masamoto, but I want to see a little bit of Soifong, please and thank you. Let me know what you think. First of all, how do you feel about this whole black pill thing? Do you feel as though it's cheapening, like, the defeat of the Stern Ritters, because after this they're kind of going to be depowered from taking the Bankais from them? Or do you think that it's just going to be more even? Do you like it? And also, what's up with Hitsugaya and Soifong's Reiatsu disappearing, but them still being slightly alive? Is it that they're so weak that they can't even sense their Reiatsu anymore? Were they bluffing? Your overall thoughts of the chapter. Well, that's all I have for this review. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Thumbs up if you can't wait to see more fights. Now that the captains got their Bankais back, this should be interesting, because the Quincy still weren't pushovers back then. You know, they still wrecked Soul Society even when the captains had Bankais, but now it's going to be some interesting stuff to see. Hopefully this downtime with training did them some good, and now that they got their Bankais back, maybe they can put up a fight against the Stern Ritters. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day.